You know what? Let's go for a walk. This morning's devotional text is Psalm 139, the Psalm of David. Take time this morning to meditate on these words. It is a beautiful psalm. David acknowledges how important God is to him and how deeply they are related to one another, whether he likes it or not. Right at the very beginning of the psalm, he says this, "O Lord, you have examined my heart and know everything about me." Indeed, God is all-knowing. He knows everything about us. There is nothing about us that he does not know. And in fact, there's nothing that we do that he's not there to see. David writes about that at verse 7. He says, I can never escape your spirit. I can never get away from your presence. It's truth. God is there no matter what for us. He's with us in the good and he's with us in the bad. And we can never deny that God knows everything there is to know. In all of that, God is our creator. He's the one who loves us. He's the one who cares for us. I like this at verse 13, sorry. You made all the delicate inner parts of my body. You knit me together in my mother's womb. We worship the God who not only knows everything about us, who not only knows what we're doing right now because he's with us no matter where we are, he is also the God who created us from the very beginning. Every single complex element of our identities, he knows about it because he was there when it was made. It's a beautiful psalm that takes a dark turn at verse 19. In verse 19, David writes this, "Oh God, if only you would destroy the wicked. Get out of my life, you murderers." It goes all the way to verse 22. "Yes, I hate them with total hatred, for your enemies are my enemies." Now, this has troubled scholars for centuries. Here you have a psalm. There's a beautiful psalm. Everything's nice about it. It's pleasant, it's warm, it's encouraging. And then all of a sudden, it takes this dark turn to start talking about evil enemies and wicked brokenness. So, scholars have had different approaches as to how to resolve this. Some have tried to argue that David didn't write that at all, that someone tacked that paragraph in later. But when you read it carefully and you look at the original language, everything flows right, it's smooth. Nope, that's probably not it. Another option, many scholars go for this one, is that, well, David is so in love with God that this is just a natural outpouring. He's going to hate the things God hates, and so he decides to write about it. Well, okay, and that may be true, but that's still a little out of sorts with what's happening as well. You see, I kind of get the sense that David might still be looking internal to himself as he writes these words. That it's not about him having zeal and being angry with the people around him. That in fact, it's still about him looking at the mirror and examining his relationship with God. Because right after that verse 22, at verse 23, David writes this, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me that offends you, and lead me along the path of everlasting life." To me, it's as though David is acknowledging that there is evil, wickedness, and brokenness in him. I mean, just yesterday we explored what happened with him and Bathsheba. David knows he's not perfect. He's in a relationship with a God who is perfect, a God who loves him, a God who created him, a God who walks with him in every step of his way. But David knows that there's also corruption within himself, and that corruption is not there because of God. It's there because of him. And so he's begging for it to be taken out, to be hunted down, because God does hate the sin that's within each and every one of us. But the good news is he does not hate us. He loves us perfectly and wants to set us free. So as you go through this day, reading and meditating upon this psalm, know that we worship the God who knows everything about us, who is with us everywhere we go, who is indeed the one who created us and made us to be perfect and complex. He's also the God that despises our sin and brokenness. He wants us to be free. So let us invite God into our hearts, to find those things within us that are not of Him, to find the things of disobedience and rebellion within each and every one of us. Lord, free us from those things so that we can be set right with you and enjoy your presence perfectly. Have a great day, everyone. If these devotional videos are helpful to you, subscribe to our channel and click the notification button so you know when we post a new video. And of course, please share them with others.